The close proximity brought shivers down Jungkook's spine that wouldn't seem to cease. A dry kiss on his cheek left a cold shock behind. His lips chased after Taehyung, begging for a real kiss. They've been neglected for so long that Jungkook might die. You should shower, might make you feel better. Taehyung patted him, rose from his kneeling position. Kiss me, please, Jungkook blurted. Taehyung hesitated as though he didn't want to. Was Jungkook that disgusting? Please. His voice was diminished to a meek whimper. It was either that or to scream. But once again, Taehyung stayed in place, just looking down on the boy as though he were a homeless man on the street. Jungkook was sick of it. He was sick of his eyes picking Jungkook apart, trying to analyze his every movement as though Jungkook were to strike. Please, Jungkook shrieked. I just want to. Could see Taehyung recoil at Jungkook demands. Jungkook knows it's such a stupid thing to have this big of an outburst about, but it's been so long. No kiss or any signs of affection. Is one much to ask? At least this time, Taehyung complied. Like he was made of glass, Taehyung cupped his rusty cheeks, planting a dreamy kiss on his lips. Taehyung didn't taste how he used to, he tasted better. It used to be sweet and sour like a ripe strawberry, very endearing. But now, he tasted like supple wine and fix. So much more mature and sexy. It only fueled Jungkook's hunger for more. He was touch-starved and needy. He wanted to feel Taehyung everywhere, on his lips, in his stomach. Please, Taehyung, just want you. Taehyung's hands shuddered against Jungkook's cheeks. His hands slid down Jungkook's body, leaving goosebumps behind. With gentle hands, he lifted Jungkook off the couch and into his arms. They silently made their way into their bedroom, not even bothering to close the door behind them. Obviously, nobody else was there. It seemed to be the only way to bring them together. Steamy, hot, that lingered in Jungkook's pelvis for days. He twitched at the thought. Taehyung laid him gently against the bed like a gentleman before they both charged for each other's lips in a tainted dance. Their tongues swirled together in synchronized movements like they'd been doing for years. Their teeth bumped together as though they were amateurs, but it was only the passion. He could barely keep his eyes open from the pleasure and from exhaustion. Cookie, Taehyung breathed out. I'll go run you a bath. Taehyung sighed, leaving Jungkook hot and bothered. Taehyung, what's going on? I'm just tired, okay? He wiped his palms over his face. Tired? Jungkook chuckled sorrowfully. What are you tired from, huh? Tired from? Taehyung dismissed Jungkook's assumptions immediately. We didn't uncook. She's just a friend. Friends don't leave suggestive comments on your Instagram posts. What? Taehyung paused in his path on the way to the bathroom. I guess you were too busy to see. He sat crisscrossed on the bed now with his arms crossed against his chest. You're impossible. You know that. Taehyung pointed a ringed finger at him, one that Jungkook would have dreamed of having inside of him minutes ago. Me? I'm impossible. His voice was laced with hostility. If I even wanted to be with her in the first place, I would have divorced you years ago. Jungkook gasped, stunned at Taehyung's choice of words. I guess he had the nerve to finally say what they were both thinking. Well, maybe you should send the papers my way then. Since you two make such a cute couple. Besides, it would be better for your image. He spit the words out like he had swallowed poison. He slammed the bathroom door behind him without another word. The hot water enveloped his body in a steamy haze. Usually, Jungkook enjoyed listening to music in the shower, but tonight, he needed the silence. He stared down into the drain, letting the water curtain over his hair. Jungkook never really thought of divorce as an option. Is marriage really forever? He stared at his wedding ring that rested next to the sink. It seemed to have lost its shine. Through the silence, Taehook's voice broke in. I don't know what to do, Mom. Jungkook's ears perked as he knew Taehook was talking about him. You don't have to tell me how you feel about him. I've known for years. It's pretty fierce. At least there's something they could agree on. Jungkook knew it was wrong, but he kept listening in. Well, now he thinks I'm cheating on him, and he paused, presumably to let his mother speak. Couples therapy? Mom, no, that's so cliché. Jungkook rolled his eyes at his husband's words. It seems hopeless. Jungkook's skin started to be affected by the pure boiling water that pelted it. He shut off the water, hearing Taehook quickly say his goodbyes. He slung a towel around his waist before leaving the bathroom to get dressed. He left his ring in the bathroom. That night he lay awake, staring at Taehook's sleeping frame. His eyes were filled with repulsion as he watched Taehook's chest rise and fall. The soft snores he huffed out prevented him from sleeping. They talked about it in the past, but of course, Taehook wasn't one to change. Lightning struck in his brain, aided by the storm that had rolled in that night. Their bed had never felt smaller. It would never be big enough. Hours ago, he longed for intimacy, but now, all he wants is to be in an entirely different country. Away from Taehook, away from his life, away from the reality of it all. These diminishing thoughts pestered his brain like spiders crawling all over his skin. He was heartbroken when he was gone, but now that he's here, he wished he wasn't. Maybe he's better off alone? He was perfectly stable without Taehook. It might be for the best. Living by himself, maybe he could run away to that farm that he always wanted. A smile played on his lips the more he thought about it. It felt good to smile. He had almost forgotten how it felt. He started to laugh too. Bombastic laughter filled the room. But Taehook still didn't wake up. He'd much rather be in a dream than with his husband. Hell, Jungkook would rather be in a dream too. He'll sleep on it. The afterglow of dawn shines through their expensive but thin curtains. Taehook was dead asleep on the far side of the bed. With sleepy steps, he arose from the bed and descended into the hallway. He kept his eyes down to avoid looking at the old pictures that hung on the walls. He couldn't handle seeing his young, carefree face smiling with hope for the world, hope for their relationship. When he didn't have the wrinkles under his eyes or on his forehead, when they were young. A spear pierced through his heart with every hefty step he took. He had to remind himself that these steps were towards freedom. He ripped a crinkled sheet of paper from a notepad and began to write a letter. Dear Taehook, if you're reading this, I'm sure you've realized that I'm gone. And I won't be coming back. You have to understand that this is for the best. Jungkook, he kept it brief so he could save his tears. He could have written so much more, which he will do eventually. He sent his boss an email announcing that he was quitting. He didn't even get to enjoy his promotion. He didn't pack anything either. He didn't want anything. All Taehook ever got him was sports cars and holiday homes. All of them meant nothing. This was his opportunity to start something new. You best believe that he grabbed this opportunity by the neck and ran. He ran for the hills and beyond, down busy roads and across railroads. He ended up at Yoongi's house. Jungkook Yoongi had his work apron on already, ready to walk out the door. He was a barista, so it was normal for him to be up this early. Can I stay? He choked and sputtered on his words like a car that wouldn't start. Of course. Yoongi let him in without another word. Yoongi never asked about it either. Best friends just have that intuition. It's like they share a brain. The first thing he did when he got to Yoongi's was collapse on the couch and cry. But the second thing he did was right. He wrote throughout the night and slept through the day. Rinse and repeat. Jungkook was too busy scrolling on the backside of a sheet of paper to let him in. Jungkook, a dip in the bed signaled that Yoongi had sat on the end. Replied but didn't look up. He was in a good train of thought. Jungkook, put the pen down, please. His voice was gentler than normal, not because he was trying to be nice but because he was tired of it. Jungkook hesitated, but listened. I'm worried about you. You always are. Jungkook rubbed at his tired eyes. It was only 8 p.m. He had just woken up. I need you to hear me out. Oh, brother, Jungkook chuckled. Usually when Yoongi said that, he would pop in with the worst idea known to man. Jungkook didn't expect anything different. I think you should go to therapy. The suggestion hit him like a bullet. The gears stopped turning in his brain. He got déjà vu back to when Taehyung's mother suggested couples therapy. It's been months since then. What he let out a surprised guffaw. You need to get out of this. Yoongi motioned to the mess of writing utensils, paper, crumpled or clean, and food trash that surrounded him. Root, if you will. I'm fine, Yoongi. This is normal. He reached for the pen once again but Yoongi was quicker. But it's not normal. You need help, Jungkook. I'm not going to therapy. Jungkook shook his head. Therapy was a place for softies. He's not one of them. Well, too bad. You're already signed up. What? Jungkook exclaimed. He would never expect this kind of betrayal from his best friend.